Matt, do you sit on an old man cushion on your chair?
Hmm.
I just saw you
Yeah.
get up and I was like, what is he sitting on? It looks like a balled up sheet or something.
It's a pillowcase on top of a like a pad. Yeah.
That's
I got to
like
take care of the old booty. Like as you get older, everything kind of falls apart. So I got to make sure that things are tip top shape.
it's just funny. And that's like it looks exactly what like my grandma used to sit on when she would like play chess or something like that. It's like her big cushion on her extra cushion chair, you know.
This isn't going to be the intro, right?
You getting older and sitting on a grandpa cushion while you game and podcast.
I am becoming an old man. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I never saw that.
No,
You
it's
got
good.
up and I was like, "What is he sitting on?" Matt, you could buy any cool gaming chair you want.
I did buy like a cushion, another cushion, because but it was too thick. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what?
But
I
yeah,
think
all right. I could buy just a different chair. Though I
Yeah.
spent a lot of money on this chair, and I want to get the most out of it.
so. You got a grandpa cushion on there.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we should start a side business, Matt. It'd be like a gaming chair. You know, they have gaming chairs, but nobody started the gaming chair butt cushion yet. You know, the like middle-aged gaming cushion,
You know what would
right?
be even better?
Yeah.
As the gaming industry starts to age, what if we started gearing our merchandise or what have you, your gear, towards an older generation?
Oh,
right?
dude, wrist brace, gaming wrist brace.
So like all the stops, anything that old people are having problems with when it comes to gaming, capitalize on that. It's brilliant. It's $1 billion industry right there.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think, you know, like all the weird pains and stuff you get in your neck and back, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get into that for sure. Gaming elbow brace or something. I'm down with this. This is not a bad idea. Like
It actually genuinely could work, especially as gamers get older. Yeah.
I like the cushion though, man. It's like get your dumb gaming chair, but also buy our gaming chair cushion for your old butt that's losing all of its fat and meat or whatever. And like, oh, my bony gaming butt. I need a Matimio cushion.
Okay, I think we could workshop the.
We could get
the
your
title
face on
that
there maybe for the logo.
Yeah, no, I don't want no, we're not going down that route.
Oh man, this is such a better intro because I was gonna lead it with you being in favor of all the cool stuff that's happening at Microsoft, but we don't have to go that route.
Of course, this is the same old joke, tired old joke. You can teach a dog new tricks. See, we just had a different intro. This is fantastic. I love it.
I'm just happy that I realized that you sat on that. You got up to get a drink of water, and I was like, "What on earth is that man sitting on?"
Yeah, it's literally cushions with a pillowcase over it.
Yeah, it's I just like learning things about you, Matt. It's always fun.
High class.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah. So the subject I wanted to lead into this podcast with feels inevitable because it's kind of one of the biggest gaming stories of the last several years. It's huge. It's massive. It is Microsoft, that little old company. It's not so much the company imploding, but
it's a little bit of an implosion. Let's be real.
The company's doing layoffs. Yeah, the company's doing a massive amount of layoffs company-wide, but Xbox is taking the brunt of it. I think they're doing like 4,800 layoffs, and Xbox is taking 3,200 layoffs of that amount. We knew it was coming. We've been talking about this for a few weeks based on leaks and rumors and all that stuff, but the results of it are kind of shocking in ways. For example, id Software, id, the creators of Doom, the original Doom, but also the more recent, hugely successful Doom games, I might add, are taking a huge cut. There's estimates that they're losing about 70-ish, a little over 70% of their actual staff.
I didn't hear that. I did hear, and they clarified that their staff is now around the same size as they were back in 2016 for that Doom. So it's not like they don't have a team that could make a game.
So let me give a little more context to that 70%. Okay. They had a huge amount of projects under their wing, and I think this probably happened because they were making successful Doom games. COVID happened, all the game stuff started booming, whatever, and they wanted to invest money in a studio that knew how to make successful games. So id had like 4 or 5 projects under their belt that I don't even think were Doom related projects. There were like other stuff going on. And this was part of, Microsoft being like, spend all the money, start all the projects, do everything. So them firing 70-ish% of their staff was like them nixing all of those projects, I think. Which is, I mean, it still sucks. That's a lot of people losing their jobs and a lot of games getting canned because of Microsoft screwing up their balance sheet.
I think that's what else was happening over at Bungie too, is I think they had a lot of side projects that we didn't really see anything from, and they were the ones that got cut as well.
Yeah. The other studio that's taken a massive hit from this is the Elder Scrolls Online team. I think that's like a ZeniMax subsidiary or part of ZeniMax or something. Because Microsoft's got them, they got everybody. They lost about 60% of their workforce, and that's still a game that people are playing and stuff. And there's been a discussion online where the community was like, we need to like boycott, this game to show our disapproval. And like one of the lead publishers was like, all that's going to do is like we're not in control of who we get bought by,
right.
and what happens with our budget. We're just in control of building the game and trying to make it good for you guys. So if you boycott our game, that's just going to speed up the demise of Elder Scrolls Online,
right.
Please don't take it out on us. We have no say in this matter. But
I'm surprised that they got cut so much, because for a long time there, they seemed like they were on a good roll. Like I remember there was a big event for Microsoft, and at the very end, they showcased, everyone was talking like in the chat on Twitch. Now this is just Twitch, obviously, and they're like, "Where's the Elder Scrolls section?" And it was just wall of it. And then when the Elder Scrolls section happened, like everyone lost their mind. I was like, "Dang, there must be like a pretty big community around this. Like there's clearly some enthusiasm." So I took that, granted it was anecdotal, that things were at least going reasonably well if there was that kind of genuine excitement around it.
Yeah. We don't know the finances. We don't know if Elder Scroll Online is losing money or making money, but this comes at a time where, so plenty of other studios were hit, and some studios were fully sold off to other publishers or allowed to go independent, where I guess they had some sort of setup where they could acquire the company or make a deal,
which is
something.
Great. It's
which
at least
is good.
Something.
Yeah, but this was like, this comes literally less than a year, around a year-ish after that massive acquisition of Activision Blizzard from Microsoft. Microsoft's been gobbling up game companies like crazy. We've been here, been like, we've had the debate over whether this is good or bad, largely falling on the bad side. I think I might have played devil's advocate here and there for like, it could be good because this. But for the most part, nobody's excited about massive corporate acquisitions of game companies. And there's like been that meme for years of how many studios EA has bought and killed, There's like a giant list of them. And these are like legendary studios like Maxis and whatnot that have given us some of the greatest games of all time that people love. And it's just, the corporate acquisition historically has been a disaster for the longevity of some of these IPs and games. And Microsoft just bought more game companies, I think, than just about any other publisher out there. And now they're shutting so many of them down, and it's coming right in the middle of them also planning. I think this year they're planning to spend $190 billion on AI focused developments, and it's pretty hard to make an argument that like this whole AI expenditure and craziness isn't just obliterating games in the short term, Like it really is hitting this industry real hard right away. And it just kind of sucks, like for gamers. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've said this before. Going back to your whole devil's advocate, I think some people were excited, even me a little bit, because I didn't really like the way that Blizzard and Activision were handling their intellectual properties for years. And so like there's like a slim hope that maybe under new management and higher ups will be able to right that and steer that ship in the right direction, you know. But the big thing that I think we've mentioned before is that if a big company acquires a lot of companies, if things start to go badly, then you see what we see now. Right? Is they're going to have to start to shed. And that's what we're going through currently. And so instead of one, a smaller company going through some hiccups, it's one big company going through hiccups, and that affects a lot more people.
Yeah. And then we got all this other stuff to muddy the waters further. So we got Xbox's new CEO, Asha Sharma, who nobody really knew what to think of her when she came in because she didn't really have any prior experience in the game sector whatsoever. She had prior experience in the AI sector, which we were all like, cool, so excited about this. She's recently been appointed to the U.S. Federal Reserve to co-lead its Productivity and Jobs Task Force in an advisory role where she'll evaluate the economic impact of artificial intelligence and emerging technologies on the workforce, serving alongside some other people and stuff on this board. But I'm like, this is very conflict of interesty.
I was going to say, that sounds like a huge conflict of interest, but
she's working for Microsoft as head of Xbox. Her whole thing coming in was like integrating AI more to the platform and stuff. And then is also like, by the way, I'll just be on this super important advisory board for the US government on AI jobs and all that stuff. You're like, okay, but like, what are the odds you're going to give advice that hurts Microsoft? Pretty low. Most of your advice is going to be like, we should definitely do the thing here that's going to help Microsoft, well, definitely that. What the hell's wrong with our government, man? They approved this acquisition deal.
I mean, that is a question as old as time itself,
we're going to solve it. We're going to solve it here on this podcast, Matt. 5 minutes. We got to solve it. No, but I mean, they approved the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. They got a Microsoft CEO on their AI advisory board. You're just like, okay, the conflicts of interest are just too obvious. They're right there. You're just, if anybody can see them, you're like, why are we doing this?
Me so much.
I know. What's wrong with the government? I thought it was good and functioning properly.
That's fun.
This is news to me. Yeah.
No, I also have questions. Maybe it's not as important of a role as we're thinking that it is, and it's who knows. A lot of that, there's a lot of advisory positions, and that's where money, gets you is influence. And Microsoft has a lot of money.
Yep,
and they do have a lot of influence. So
I'm just jealous. I want an advisory board position. I want to be up there, and somebody ask me like, "What should everybody do?" And I'll be like, "Well." Let me tell you.
Subscribe to Level Cap Gaming.
Subscribe to that and buy my video game. That's what you should all do. No, anyway, it's hard to digest all of this because it's affecting so many games. I'm not worried about the game industry as a whole because I do think it's very tenacious. Gamers are avid. We're constantly gaming. We're constantly finding deals. There's more games than ever to play right now. It's just upsetting when you see so many good games or hardworking people getting affected by massive corporate decisions. And even though there will always be a surplus of great games to play over the coming years, it doesn't mean that we're not losing some potentially great opportunities in this as well. You're going to be excited playing GTA 6 or whatever next year, but you might not know what you lost from id Software losing 70% of its staff.
Right.
There might have been an incredible game in there that would have been the next big thing that we'd all be talking about for the next decade, but it's gone now. It's vaporized. So yeah, it's disappointing, but
agreed. Big time.
Yeah. So hey, how about it looks like maybe Ubisoft is not dead yet.
Yeah, some decent news for them. They needed a win, and it sounds like they got one with Black Flag Resynced.
Yeah.
It's doing quite well.
Yeah.
At least it seems like it is.
I like the name Resynced because it feels like a cyberpunk DLC, but it's actually for a pirate game, you know?
Well, it's also because it is funny because there's the whole sci-fi aspect of Assassin's Creed.
True.
Where you are in the future and you're just experiencing it through, I can't remember the name of it, but
yeah,
that's all been taken away from Black Flag, which is kind of funny. So there's none of that in the game at all. So to have it be called Resynced is kind of ironic. But yeah, the game's fun though.
Should be called Desynced, right? Because they desynced from that. Is it like the Animus or something weird? I forget what it's called.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So you like it? Like, I've seen lots of people playing it. They sold 2 million copies, I think, on the first day of launch, which is like,
oh wow,
yeah. I mean, Assassin's Creed, it's still a massive IP. People love it, despite Ubisoft's just plummeting year after year in terms of their success or big hits. Yeah, maybe they're onto something here. I mean, what are your thoughts on? You played it. What do you think?
I haven't beaten it yet. I'm close. I've never played the original, so I don't have anything to to compare it to. But graphically, really pretty. Reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed Shadows in that respect. Shadows. I would say Ubisoft has always been pretty good at making their games look good, right? Yeah. Like they know what they're doing for the most part when it comes to graphics, and this is no exception. The environment looks fantastic, character models look good, hair effects and everything like that. It's a solid, pretty looking game. Performance has been really good too, so can't really complain about that either. I am using frame gen and getting around like frame gen 2. Full out max graphics, 1440p, getting really great 120 FPS, rock solid. So that's all been solid. Gameplay, pretty simple. It's like the older Assassin's Creed, obviously, but with an updated melee system where it's now action oriented, because apparently the original game was definitely more archaic and kind of its time. And this one is more you lock onto a target or you can swing your weapons and there's like an actual hitbox to everything. And apparently that's not how it worked in the past. And so you've got combos and you can like kind of use like different abilities to, get the advantage on enemies and stun them. And it flows really well. It's fine. Like it's not amazing. You're not going to play it necessarily for the combat at all, but at least it gets the job done. Mm-hmm. The strength is the story and the characters are interesting. Like I'm actually engaged
in the pirates,
what's happening right in the pirates. Yeah. There's like, iconic characters that you would expect in a pirate game, right? Spoiler alert, I guess for there's one Blackbeard's in it.
Yeah.
Right. Who doesn't like a good Blackbeard, right? So he's there and he's kind of it's funny because like they try to there's so much hypocrisy to it. And it's because they're living their lives as pirates. They're like, we're free. But it's like you're looting and plundering. It's like, yeah, you're literally making them not free because you're like, stealing from them, right? So there's that hypocrisy in it, but they do it in a way that I think works pretty well, which makes it fun. Because I think, it's a good time. So the only complaint I would have is that it feels a little bit older. Like it's not any like the stealth is like you run around and you're just stabbing people left and right. There's no. I think this is one of the reasons why they went to the more RPG side of things later on. So you can't just one shot everyone you come across because then that just trivializes all stealth combat, right? Like you're just plugging away.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like because it worked back then and it does work now. It's just kind of more of a simple gameplay loop.
Gotcha. It's funny because I think a huge amount of the success of this game is just the fact that people get to live out a fun pirate fantasy. And there's not a lot of games that do that really well. They've tried to. Yep. Ubisoft has tried to do it, in fact.
Yep.
Spectacularly, I might add.
The running gag has been while I'm streaming is they should have made a multiplayer out of this, right? Like they could have been the first quadruple A video game we've ever experienced.
Oh my gosh.
That's the running gag, right?
I mean, it quite literally is like, hey, wow, people really liked Assassin's Creed Black Flag. We should make that game. And then it didn't work. But you also brought up something that's funny and I was thinking about this the other day because I had shown Pirates of the Caribbean to my kids for the first time, the first movie, and they liked it. And it's a fun pirate adventure. But there is a hypocrisy in there, and there's no way around it, basically, is they constantly try and romanticize the pirate life to a degree in book form, in movie form, and in game form. And you're like, if you're a pirate, you're a bad person. I'm sorry. There's nothing there. You can't get around it. And like,
they're like, I'm free. It's like, well, yeah, you're free because you're, subjugating your will into someone else, right?
Yeah. Well, also,
which is what they're complaining about, what makes them not free because of, the British,
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, like in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like, oh, but they're lovable characters. I'm like, they do kill people and take all their stuff. They kill people, take all their stuff. That's what they do. But they're quippy and lovable on the side. And it's just funny to watch like Disney run that line, because it's like they'll do. I'm watching it with my kids, and it's a movie that like I talked to other parents and we're like, yeah, you can watch that with your kids or whatever. And people get their throat slit in the film, but it's like,
I don't remember that.
Because Disney does it like off camera. They'll like bring up the knife, come up behind somebody, and then you'll just like see the feet of the person, their body will fall or something. And you're like, oh, it's a Disney throat slit, but like it is what happened. Like somebody just got their throat slit.
Right. Yeah.
And it's amazing how much they're able to get around the gratuity of the actual actions and still be like, it's a fun pirate adventure. A little off-camera throat slitting. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It is romanticized, but that's what makes it fun, right? That's why it's enjoyable.
I still like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it is funny where anytime you stop to think about it just a little bit, you're like, they are deep down horrific monsters. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great, but that's okay because it's a video game and it's meant to be fun. So I can look past it.
Yeah. Well, cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. The other big sort of not release but update last week was Palworld 1.0. Palworld's been a wild experience to sort of follow and I'm sure play. I haven't really played it much, but following it, it's like it came out. It was so obviously inspired by Pokemon, and so closely so that there was a lot of debate over, was it just straight up copying Pokemon too much in some ways? And Nintendo, of course, received no love on that argument because of how aggressive they've been about policing their IPs. Too much so in the sense that they just straight up are like, you're not even enforcing anything. You're just attacking some company. And Nintendo did attack Palworld, and they sued them, and Palworld had to change a bunch of stuff about the game. But they have survived all of that. They have a huge audience. They've launched 1.0, and you played it.
I did. I also played it like 2.5 years ago when it originally came out. And it was fun then, and it's, I would say, just as fun now. It's not high art, right? Like it is not like the most like crazily and like where they really like thought about everything and every nuance and really get the flow going. It's messy. It's a little messy here and there. It's definitely way better than it was at release, I think, or like the early access release. They've tightened that up. But it's just this game where like you're just always doing something. You're always doing something. You're managing your base. You're going out. You're trying to capture more pals. You're like, okay, now I got to get a new weapon. How am I going to get a new weapon? And you're just constantly bouncing from thing to thing to thing to thing, managing, a different base that you could set up, right? That was just like, I'm going to make this my mining base, and this one's going to be for my farm and things like that. So there's always stuff to do, and that gameplay loop is incredibly addicting. On top of that, there's just really adorable pals that you capture, and there's a part of that is just so charming, right? You get like this little hedgehog that is just so happens to also be electric. No association to Sonic the Hedgehog at all, but wink wink, right? And the animations, they have like unique animations for like pretty much all the pals. There's like some reused things here and there, but like you can tell they clearly tried in that respect, and it's just fun to see what you come across in the world.
Now, what I want to know is, how hard of labor can you put these pals into? Like, can you just send them right into the mines or the plantation fields? Like, what can you get these pals up to?
I mean, that's basically what you do. And if you don't take advantage of it, you're going to have a miserable experience. You have to have them farming. You have to have them building, all these things. This is where I say it gets a little messy, is you start off with just twigs and stones, just as every other survival game. I wish we could get past that, but we can't. And then
that's how you build a house. You put a stone on top of a twig, Matt, and then you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Not that further along. You could probably do this within the first 10 hours. You're already at like guns, right? So you go from twigs to guns in like 10 hours. It is quick. And so you have you start off, you're like, I'm gonna make a little shack, right? A little house. And you're like, oh, it's cool, it's so pretty. And then all of a sudden you have like assembly line factories directly next to it that completely conflicts with the vibe of what you just built. So they're throwing the progression at you, which is kind of what makes it fun, because you're always like, new thing, dopamine. But it also makes it feel a little messy because you're like, none of this like vibes with what I just built only just a couple of hours ago. So I feel like I'm going to have to kind of get to a point where I'm like, okay, I've got at least a decent thing established. Let me now reset my base and make it actually flow and work, because now I know where things go and what I need for each of my bases, right?
Yeah, your PAL empire.
My PAL empire, yeah.
Yeah. I can't get over just the silliness of this game in the sense that it's like your pals, your buddies, and they're your labor force that you have basically captured from the wild, which is not an allegory to any other thing in history whatsoever.
You give like the monkeys, the chimpanzees, like guns. You literally go on expeditions with your pals and you send hundreds of them on an expedition, and they're going into a mine. So when you say that they're going to a mine, you are literally sending them into a mine, right? I'm sure that they did that intentionally. There's a lot of that. It's also like surprisingly dark out of nowhere. I entered into this cave, and there was this really creepy guy that was smiling, and I looked around. There was a bunch of guillotines and like buckets that were just like. It's like, what is going on in here, bro? Right? And it's very strange.
Do you find out what's going on in there?
And I didn't find out yet. No, there wasn't like a story associated with it.
He's welcome to Bob's Guillotine and Bucket Shop. If you need some guillotines and buckets.
He's just a merchant. Yeah. He doesn't actually talk to you. He's just a merchant.
And they just thought they would dress it with some guillotines and buckets.
I don't know.
Like, what do you need these for, dude?
They added in a bunch of like side quests, and there's a bunch of humans around bosses that you can fight that kind of acts like Pokemon trainers, but so you'll go there and they can shoot at you, but they'll also sometimes summon their own pal, and so then it kind of becomes this, like Pokemon battle that a lot of people were kind of clamoring that would happen in a Pokemon game, but they did it here. It's not perfect, but some of those side missions, they will like flesh out the story, not the story, but they're kind of like jokes. Yeah. So like one of them is a serial arsonist, but there'll be like a funny twist to it, and it's goofy. Like the entire thing is just kind of like a meme, and they know it's a meme. Yeah. But it's a fun meme. Yeah. And it works for the most part.
I think that's what I'm so kind of amazed by the game, and I can't stop like being tickled by the whole concept of it, in that it is just this silly parody on Pokemon to a degree, and that it's still so good that millions of people are playing it, where they're like
millions.
Yeah. Where they're like, oh man, well, this is I've always wanted a Pokemon game where I could do all this stuff. And they're like, there you go. We got it. And it's massively successful. And it's going to be a thing now, probably. There'll probably be a Palworld 2 at some point or whatever.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you launch in early access, I don't think they're going to get this, because there was that initial wave of just excitement for being able to play a Pokemon style game like this. It got up to like 2 million, 2+ on concurrent on Steam. And a lot of people are like, oh, the Steam is gone. Like no one's going to, it got up to 800,000 concurrent after 1.0 release.
Crazy.
So few
That's
games
almost
reached
PUBG.
that.
Yeah. I mean, like, is that That must be like almost number 2 on the Steam.
Oh no. It's no. That's
Oh no, PUBG
no.
was like 3 mil or something crazy.
Yeah.
But still. That's still insane. That puts it in the like top echelon of games ever released.
Yeah.
Totally wild. I think the main lesson we can take from Palworld is that if you want to make some sort of labor simulator game, don't call it Plantation Simulator, okay? Like you don't do Plantation Simulator. Instead, call it Palworld, where you capture pals.
There's a little bit more to it than that.
You get pals, and then they have big smiles on their face while they do the hardcore labor for you.
Yeah, PUBG got 3 million for concurrent. So,
okay, yeah.
It's nuts. So right now, Palworld is sitting at number 2 for top played games right now in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, not like Pokemon's going anywhere. My son is still dude, Pokemon cards are still massive right now. Like they're just trading them constantly. And I'm like, oh my God, how is this still so big? That IP has got to be one of the biggest on the planet.
I think it is the biggest IP.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just weird because I played it when I was a kid in school, and seeing kids just as obsessed with the cards, maybe even more so now, because they literally can open a pack and get a card that's worth like hundreds of dollars. So now they're like, because I don't think that was a thing back when we were collecting the cards. They didn't have that kind of value yet. They hadn't like made. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe you could get like a foil Charizard or something, and maybe it was worth like $80 or something at the time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, okay. But like now they've like just taken it to another level, and it's just like, oh my God. Like kids are just obsessed with it, man.
Well,
gotta catch them all.
I like card games. I think they're cool. I don't like the gotcha gambling side of it, and I think that unfortunately has become way more prevalent, and I definitely don't like that. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, because I know that some people are really passionate about, they actually genuinely like collecting them, and it's not about the gambling side.
Yeah, no, you are right though. It's gone more in that direction, more so. When I went to the card shop last time to get some packs for my son, there was these two kids sitting outside, and it felt very there's that movie with Jay and Silent Bob in it, their first film, where they're standing outside of like a 7-Eleven with slushies, There's two kids standing outside with their big gulps, and they're opening Pokemon card packs, and if they got one, they knew all the values, and if they got a good value, they go in and sell it to the shop for whatever the shop was going to pay for it, and then they'd buy more card packs with it, and they just kept doing this, and I was just like, whoa, these kids are like building up a stack of cards out there, and they're just like gambling. It was like kind of like a slot machine, right? Where they're like opening, they're like, oh, we got this worth $12. And then they go in and sell it for $12 to the shop, and then buy $12 worth of packs or whatever. And then
that
just keep going.
Slightly problematic at all.
I know. And I was just watching it, and I was like, okay, so this is gambling straight up. That's like that. It's the closest analogy you could make to it. So, I'll make sure that my kids don't get into it too hard, but there is he brings his full binder to like camp and stuff, and there's wheeling and dealing, and then he comes home with stuff, and I'm just like, all right, I don't know what's going on there.
I mean, that's what the fun of the trading. That's why it's a trading card game. Like, it's literally in the name, trading. You're trading them, right?
Yeah.
But so I don't have any issue with that.
They're learning market economics at camp, That's what it is. That's what I tell myself.
The thing that always rubs me the wrong way, and I know people will disagree with me on this, but like any other game, none of this, well, not any other game, because that's not true, but a lot of other games, if they tried to pull off this nonsense of like, oh, you want to play our game? Okay, well, you're going to have to just roll the dice or buy like a deck, and then you can only use that deck. And it's like, oh, I would like to experience more of your game. Well, you're going to have to buy another deck, and that's going to be even more than just any other AAA $60, $70 video game out there, right? And that's where I'm like, this feels like they clearly know what they're doing. They know They know this works. That's why it's never going to change. And I can shout to the clouds like an old man, but
yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna have much impact.
I think Hearthstone's going to be around forever, so to speak.
Forever and ever.
Yeah. It's just got sunken cost, man. I've put too much money into those decks. I got to keep playing it.
I guess so.
I haven't played Hearthstone in a while, actually. I'm kind of curious how the game's evolved over the years.
That's how they get you.
I know. Man, that was one of the esports that I actually was like, I could watch this. Like, I really like it.
Yeah.
It's a fun format. Yeah. Well, one of the other things I wanted to talk about today, and this has been an ongoing subject, but there was actually a little study done this time, so now we actually have data on it. So this is the Steam AI checkbox. So basically, when a game goes up on Steam, if they use AI generated assets, not code, but assets in the game, that would be artwork or audio or something like that. They have to check a little box in there that says, we used AI to make this game. And so Game Discovery Co. actually did a survey to find out if people cared whether or not there was a little checkbox on a game that said this game uses AI. 43% don't care. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
AI is totally fine in their video game. Who cares? We're going to buy it. If it's a good game, we'll buy it. 26% neutral. Like, couldn't decide if they felt something about it. So already pretty big percentage of them that's more or less going to buy a game that's good if it uses AI. And then approximately 31% were skeptical or strongly opposed. I don't like that it's either skeptical
it was included
or strongly. It's like, break that up into skeptical and strongly opposed, because now we're like, is it only 5% that are strongly opposed? And the other ones are like, oh, I don't know about this. But what I would be very curious about this survey is if they do another one in like another 6 months or a year, and those numbers swing a bit further and a bit further. I think that is the direction that things are going, is apathy towards the system or getting used to it, right? That's how most of this stuff goes, is we get a system around it, like a trading card system, and initially people were like, oh, this is gambling, we don't like it, and then it's around for long enough and you're like, that's just how it is, man. We just got trading card systems in games now, don't worry about it. Or loot box systems or whatever, So it's interesting because I find it interesting because this is a huge subject in the game dev world, right? Is like indie studios and publishers are like, when do we get to use AI before it affects our sales?
Yeah.
So they're very much like looking at this figure closely and going, how much do people actually care? So what I think interesting about it is that you see a huge amount of anti-AI sentiment online for good reason, because it is disrupting so many industries and people are losing their jobs. But the sentiment seems to be more about that, and the people who are upset about it ending up in content that you're consuming, I think they're less upset about the actual end product of it and more about what the actual system is doing to the industry, the job industry, if that makes sense.
Kind of.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I don't think that I think there's going to be a major flipping point in the industry soon. And all it's going to take is a few more Arc Raiders or games like that are just like throwing caution to the wind and going, we're just going full tilt with AI. We're going to use it as much as we possibly can. And we're going to give you a good game. And if that game sells well, then the rest of the industry is going to look at it and go, okay, well, they just proved that they can do a lot more using these tools, make a lot more money. And the anti-sentiment is not as big of a factor in the profit sentiment. And that's going to be the big flippening, I think, for a lot of studios, big studios anyway.
Yeah, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah,
I pushed back a little bit because did you hear that Tim Sweeney was like upset that Steam forces you to disclose. It's like, well, there's a reason why he's upset about that.
Yeah.
And you could argue it's because, they just don't want to disclose that kind of stuff. Who knows where? I'm not Tim Sweeney, right? But I imagine it's because he recognizes that if there is that disclosure, that less people will be likely to buy the game, right?
Yeah.
So there's clearly an impact, so much of an impact that he feels the need to say something, that this is unfair because he feels that, it's probably going to have some impact on sales. So I don't think we're there yet.
I agree.
Obviously, we can't predict the future of what's going to happen because you're right. Arc Raiders was a really good example. A lot of people were, there was a lot of fuss around the AI voices and people were upset, but it wasn't enough to stop people from buying it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, right? And so you could argue the next game that comes out, mega success, maybe they use voices, and maybe they use something else, like a couple things here and there, right? I don't know what those things are because I'm not I'm the game developer. And then you keep going down the line, and now AI is using everything. I really don't know. It seems like there is still, and I don't think it's going to go away right away, if maybe at all. People are still really opposed to it. I think there was an article I read. I'm probably getting it wrong. It was, I don't even know how they calculated this. I should have read more, but it was if you're from a big AAA studio, if you're disclosing that AI is involved, you are making less, like this, you're selling less copies, was essentially the takeaway from the article. I can't remember exactly how much.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't know.
It's still a major factor. And I'm also not advocating for AI usage. I think most people in the industry wish we could go back for truly.
Yeah.
Just go back to the simpler times, because even though things were harder in some sense, where you didn't have these tools to like troubleshoot and help you figure out stuff really quickly and much more efficiently, everybody didn't have those tools, and it was a more equal playing field, and the pros aren't necessarily outweighing the cons in most people's opinions. So I'm not advocating for it, but I'm more just seeing the pattern in where things are going with this. And I think there was a little more depth to what Tim Sweeney was saying. And it wasn't just that it was affecting the profits. There's a couple angles to it. One is that it's an honor-based system. So when somebody says, there's no AI in our game, says them. Do you know every single file in their game and every single asset? And do you have the tools? Because this is the other angle of it. AI is a horrible detector of other AI. You can run this test for yourself. You can make an AI generated image and then feed it to AI and be like, is this AI generated? And the results, well, I've done it. I've quite literally done it because I have to vet art for my game production.
Yeah.
And when I vet it, I run it through an AI vetting system to see if it's AI. And a lot of the time I'm just like, well, I just watched this guy hand paint this and it's saying 70% likelihood of AI. And I'm just like, oh my God, the whole system is like, there's no way to vet it essentially. Like, and we're putting too much faith in the vetting system that is super inaccurate too. So the whole system, as far as I'm concerned, is honor-based. Like there's definitely some clear-cut cases of like, yes, this is definitely AI. But then there's a huge percent of like, we have no idea if this is AI. And
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the arguments is it's an honor-based system. And the other thing, which was said by a Google executive a while ago, was that most of the AAA game industry is using this in a way that would check that checkbox, but they are not disclosing it. And that's what makes it unfair, is that people who are checking that checkbox are being honorable and truthful, but it's a very small percentage of people actually who are using AI that are disclosing it. So
then, I see what you're saying, and I don't think you're wrong. And I think Tim Sweeney, if that was what his argument was, I think that holds some weight.
Part of it, yeah.
Right. But I do think that there is a part of it where he just doesn't want to disclose, because I think he recognizes, and that's probably the reason why these other companies aren't disclosing, is because they recognize that people would be a little less likely to buy the game if they knew that.
Yeah, and he's just saying, the disclosure is not an effective system in that it's mostly just unfair, in that people are people who are abusing the system are going to get a huge advantage, and people who are honorable
and honest,
are gonna get a disadvantage, basically. So
yeah,
it's just going to go towards the, hey, we're going to use it and say that we're not using it, and then we will sell more games and make better games because we can work faster and more efficiently because we're using the tools. So yeah, it's a tough argument, and I think the system right now is very poorly designed, and I don't know of a good solution to make it better because of the honor system and the inability to fully figure out if things are AI. So it'll be interesting, but everyone I've talked to on the tech side of the industry doesn't see this checkbox system lasting much longer, or at least staying in the same state that it is right now. Evolving, maybe it'll evolve into something else. I'm not sure, but nobody's particularly happy with the way it is now, especially when it's like you can write your entire code base from AI, but if you have AI write one line of dialogue, you have to check that box. And you're like, okay. It's just weird because the disclosure of art versus engineering is such a gray line at a certain point where you're like, okay, well, I just asked it to make an entire action RPG system for me. And it made a lot of choices along the way that you could consider to be artistic choices for me. Right?
Right.
Because there's because there's a huge amount of choices to be made in any sort of engineering system for a game. Like hundreds we're talking about. And these are ultimately artistic choices that are going to affect gameplay, whether the system functions like an additive or a multiplicative system for like ARPG tracking stuff. If the AI makes that decision for you, it's making artistic gameplay decisions, but that's okay in the eyes of Steam. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's so gray and so weird right now.
It is very weird. I agree. Yeah.
And it frustrates me as a developer where I'm just like, this stuff is all over the place, man. Like, it's all just chaos right now. And
you could say the same for everything related to AI now. It's just chaos in every sector.
Yes. Yeah. I think we're in a little bit of a pullback phase right now, which is everybody bought the hype. All these companies bought the hype. They went, all right, fire 30% of the staff. They fired 30% of the staff. And then the higher ups or not the higher ups, but the actual workers, the people who get stuff done, are going, by the way, everything you were told that AI could do, it can't quite do. It can do some of the things, but it can't do as much as you think it can do. So we are now understaffed. We are all stressed out. We all hate trying to prompt AI to do everything as opposed to telling an intelligent person to do something
and
who already knew how to do it. We hate it. We hate the new workflow. We hate our jobs, and now we're outputting less, and the quality is less. Like, thank you guys. So we're in, and I'm seeing this. I've just speaking with people in other professions and other industries who have all gone through this exact same formula. Now these companies are going, oh crap, what's the move? And they're going, I think we hire more people back on and sort of don't rely on AI for quite as much as we thought we could. And I'm wondering if this will be the start of a major pullback for the industry where people go, oh, it's not quite that silver bullet or whatever it is. Yeah, it's so revolutionary. It'll get there, but it's like the internet, right? It's like we thought it was going to be the greatest thing ever right away. And we're like, it needs about 5 to 10 years to become that crazy tool that you see coming, but it's just not happening as fast as you think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think we're in that phase. We're in that corrective period, or we're about to enter that corrective period.
So good news, everyone. We're going to be able to afford RAM and graphics cards in the next decade. All right, everyone.
Oh man, dude, gamers have gotten hit. This is one of those industries that I think has been hit harder because it's on the consumer side. The gamers are like, cool. So we just can't buy consoles or hardware anymore because it's. I'm not even looking at it. I'm not even thinking about. I wouldn't even. I've got hard drives in my computer. I'm like, well, I just hope those never die because if I have to buy another solid state drive, like 3x what
pricey.
it used to cost, 4x,
easily 3 times. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Boy, I'm Nvidia's not even going to release a new set of GPUs in the near future because I mean, who's going to buy them? Who can afford to buy them? They're remaking the 30 series cards at this point because they're like, well, those are all being built in old fabs that we can't use to build the new stuff. So we got those free. So just start churning out the 30 series again. You're like, what is happening over here? We're going back in time, everybody.
Pretty much. I mean, I remember when I was making a PC, this was like a decade ago, and like I was like getting into M.2 SSDs, you know, like the fast stuff, but it was like really expensive.
Yeah.
And then I recently built another PC and was like, damn, M.2s are cheap. Well, not anymore because now they're back to the like original price where it was, 10 years ago. So
yep. Well, I've been making the references to the very early days of personal computing, which was like beige Macintosh days, back when everybody's computer was beige for whatever reason. We all had this ugly plastic that would yellow eventually, you know?
It was hot. It was hot.
Yeah. Before they knew how to manufacture plastic correctly and like anything that was white would eventually turn yellowish. So beige PCs, but this was like, if you were a nerd and you worked at a company and you were the guy that did like computer graphics or Photoshop or something, Photoshop 1.0. You would need a lot of RAM in your PC. And you were like a very small niche market of people who needed a lot of RAM in your PC. That RAM would cost like $2,000 if you wanted to increase the RAM in your PC. It was massively expensive, but that's just what it was. It was a very niche, specialized career. And you need to drop crazy money. And now we're back to that. You're just like, we've made so much progress and reset. Going all the way back.
Yeah.
We'll see. We need to build a fab, Matt. That's what we need. We need to build one of those $10 billion RAM fabs. And
I have a confession.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that kind of money.
Oh, no. But you're a content creator, Matt.
I don't even own a home, bro.
Yeah.
I can't afford that.
Did you ever hear those stories about I mean, they're not even stories. This is like just a fact is they would rent out like private jets or Lamborghinis or whatever in these like situations where Instagram influencers could go out to like a Lambo that was like parked at a beach and like take photos of themselves in their lavish, luxurious lifestyles, or go onto somebody's private jet and take photos like they were traveling somewhere on their private jet, but they weren't. And this was like a service being like rented out to like basically
influencers and content creators.
Yeah, to basically make it look like they were just so stupidly successful because people were like attracted to that disgusting lifestyle, essentially.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Now it's all just being done by AI, right? Is like you can just sit in your seat and be like, make it look like I'm on a private jet or I'm flying to the Bahamas or whatever that, and doing that. And you're like, oh my God, like it was happening pre-AI, but now it's just fully ramped up. Now everybody's some sort of luxury, living some bougie lifestyle on Instagram. And it's like, now everybody's just like slaving away, trying to get their subscribers out there. Their views.
You saw my chair butt pad, so I'm living the lavish life over here.
Yeah. That's what I want your green screen to be, Matt, in your stream. It's just like some palace, some royal palace. My
intro. I have an intro. It's super sketch, but I know someone who like was learning like VFX and Blender, and they made me a really nice apartment suite, overlooking the city and everything like that. It's super sketch, and that's kind of part of the charm, right?
Yeah.
So I have an intro that's like insinuating that I'm uber wealthy, but it is all a lie and a sham.
I do like your Matimio reading thing. Do you still have that?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Timmy just reading a book in his study.
Yes.
It's very weird. We're in a weird time right now, but I desperately I've always wanted to put a PSA out there for like kids trying to get into YouTube, because there's the misinformation around it. And once I found out, and this is an old stat, but once I found out that the most desirable job was influencer, from going from like firefighter, policeman, astronaut to like influencer, you're like, oh, society's doomed, that desire comes from a lie, essentially. the glorification of what influencer life is it's made to look incredible and like so much better than it actually is, and everybody's eating up the lie. And then it's sort of this weird thing where it's like you're creating a climate in which everybody wants to do it. It's creating huge amounts of competition for the influencer market, making the job even harder and more cutthroat and more and less profitable. And it's all being propped up by this idea that it's so much better than it actually is.
Yeah, you see people complaining about how, OF models and the content, Mr. Beast and what have you, they live these lavish lives and they share how much money they make. And they're like, bro, why am I even trying my 9 to 5? Well, it's like, you're doing your 9 to 5 because that is literally the peak. Those people they are not the norm, right? They are the lucky ones. The same people that are, movie stars. It's the same thing as like a movie star, it's just a little bit different now.
Or a professional athlete. Yeah.
Right. And so you see them make it, but there's, in this case, millions of people that are trying to make it work. And getting nowhere close. Some people are able to do it for a living and make a respectable living, and that's still abnormal. That still requires a lot of luck and, hard work.
Yeah.
But it's the illusion that it's easy when it's really not. Yeah. It doesn't help when Mr. Beast comes on is like, I could do this again on another channel anonymously, instantaneously. And so it gives people this impression like, I can do that. It's like, yeah, you could.
If you're willing to sacrifice everything for it.
Well, and get incredibly lucky.
Yeah. Incredibly lucky. And it's very much the Thanos meme of like, what did it cost you? Everything. There's
everything.
Many influencers like just kind of sacrifice everything else in life to make it. And you're like, okay, there's no balance there. It's hard to get that. I've been desperately trying to claw it back for years.
So yeah, I do hear where you're coming from, and especially for kids and stuff like that. It's like, this is not great. I get why. I think it's because of the grind mindset. People like, if I grind at it and I work hard at it, there's this goal and I can see what these other people have achieved and maybe I can achieve that too. And I think that's also a reason. And
it also ties into your current interest, right? Of like, I like to game, or I like to do whatever the influencer like genres are about, is like, oh, well, I'm into that too, so I can make that a career.
Right.
As opposed to like, oh, I'm going to be this other job that I have no experience with, I'm going to go be a doctor. Have you ever done that before? Nope. It's harder to sell that idea sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
So I noticed you watched The Bear, the most recent season. I couldn't bring myself to get into it.
So I haven't seen any of The Bear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is it on your list?
Because I haven't seen the most recent season. I've only seen season 1 now and season 2.
Oh, okay. So you just got into The Bear.
I just got into it, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so this is interesting because I have seen season 1 and 2, and are there 4 or 3 seasons? I can't remember.
I think there's 5 seasons, yeah.
5?
I technically haven't watched all. Yeah, the 5th is the final one.
Okay. I burned out on it after a little while. I thought the first season was incredible.
It was incredible.
I enjoyed the second season. What did you think of the second season?
So let me first go on season 1. Season 1, episode 7, I think, was one of the most chaotic but well done episodes I've seen on TV. When things just go bad.
Okay.
That the dinner was season 2. And that I think was
season
also
2.
around episode 7 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
So there seems to be a trend. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But season 1, that scene, that I think it was one shot. So it was like 20 minutes and the camera never cuts, right? And it was like, damn, like you don't notice it until the end. You're like, dude, I don't think they ever cut at all.
Because you're
and
just like sweaty, palm clenched fist watching the whole thing. You're like, oh.
Right.
Yeah.
It really sells it. And so like the director and the actors did a phenomenal job. Incredible piece of cinema, really. It was really well done.
Yeah.
And it's one of those shows where it's so anxiety inducing, but at the same time there's heart to it where you're really rooting for these people and they've got they've got a backstory that you care about. And you see like Tina, I absolutely adore Tina. She starts off, I'm not going to spoil too much, but she starts off a certain way and then she starts to go another direction. I'm like, I love you.
Yeah.
And then all these, and that's true for a lot of the characters, and you're just like yes. When you finally see them start to succeed, you're really into it. And then season 2 episode, I don't know, the dinner comes around. You're like, that is the most stressful episode I have ever witnessed ever. It was misery.
Also, how good is Jamie Lee Curtis? Like,
oh, phenomenal.
So
phenomenal.
Good. Everybody, Bob Odenkirk's in it. Like, they got all these great actors. Yeah. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was like, I don't know if I want to go on because I stopped halfway through the episode. I'm like, I just need a break. Like this is awful, right? Like how could anyone live like this with a family like this? This is horrible.
I should clarify. It's the episode was incredible and incredibly well done, but the feelings and the stress of these people's lives is so intense and you're so in it that you're like, wait, do I want to feel this right now? Do I want to feel all of these feelings right now? Or do I want to maybe not feel this? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, amazing. There was a lot of guest stars in that episode and all of them, every single one of them hit it out of the park. And then after that, the next 2 episodes were a lot more wholesome. So it's like, I think even the director and the writers are like, okay, we need a cleansing palette, right? And then so they had some more that were more like inspirational and everything. But yeah, it's just a roller coaster of emotions. And so it is top tier television. It really is. I went into it skeptical because like everyone says and claims that it's the best thing ever. And in a lot of ways, they're right. But in a lot of ways, it is not for everyone. I would not recommend the show to everybody because it will literally give you anxiety and stress because it's so well done and you just in the moment living it.
Yeah. I think I would recommend season 1 to everyone. Season 2 has obviously these incredible episodes. I've thought about The Bear a lot because it has such an incredibly strong start. But as the show evolves, because like is there actually 5 seasons? It feels like maybe less, but
I believe there are 5. Yeah, I literally just checked before we started streaming.
It's what started to upset me is that you take another show like what's the soccer show, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, yeah.
Which is incredibly wholesome. It has its stressful moments in it. And it has like these characters that are going through hard times in it. But it ultimately progresses to a place where the characters are growing and good things eventually start happening to them. And it makes you happy. And it's like a really great show about just growing and learning valuable lessons.
Yes.
And The Bear is like, screw that. We're going to give you a taste. We're going to give you a taste of them growing and learning. And then we're going to reset hard and just slap you in the face. And I haven't seen the whole thing, so I don't know if it progresses, but I think I watched all of season 3. Okay. And season 3 left me very upset by the end of it, as
you felt like they weren't making any progress, and it was just the same thing over and over.
They were just stress porning it, basically, where they're just like, you know what? Why give you guys progress when we can reset it all? And you're like, can we let these characters grow and evolve and hit them with like, I think that was it, is they kept hitting them with the same problems where it was like they just couldn't kind of get past their stuff. And you're like, I want to see them grow and evolve
too, but
true. But I want to see them grow and evolve and get new skills, and then have new problems that they have to deal with, but they're past their first set of problems to a degree.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's a fair critique. I haven't finished season 2, so I don't know how season 2 concludes. But there has been growth. But if I'll take your word on season 3, if things start to stagnate a little bit, that would frustrate me, because I do see characters actually growing, and if it devolves and we reset, that would suck, because you're right. I want to see. It's the reason why I never really vibed with episodic shows back in the day, and I'm so glad that one of the great things about streaming is that we now finally have a way for shows to actually have an overarching story that is cohesive. And so I don't like it when it feels like every episode has no connection to the other one, right? Like, so if season 1 is the same as season 3, but they're in a slightly different setting, like, then who cares, right?
Yeah. It's all still incredibly well shot and well done. And if somebody's watching this and says, trust me, bro, season 4, season 5 gives you what you want or whatever, then yeah, sure, I'll take it on. But I think part of it was like, by the time you've done 3 seasons and you're like, it felt a bit like a reset, to be honest, at the end of season 3, I think. I was just like, I don't want to, is season 4 just going to be the same thing? Is it going to be Avatar 3? You know, are we going to see the same thing that we just saw?
But the Fire Nation arrived.
Yeah. I was having that Avatar conversation with somebody else where I was like, God, the reason why nobody's going to like binge all the Avatar movies like they do Lord of the Rings is because, dear God, Avatar 2 and Avatar 3 are the same freaking movie. And you're just like,
oh. I haven't seen 3. I just know there's the Fire Clan or whatnot. You know?
Okay. Well, you should watch it. Then we can have that conversation.
Because I think it's an experience that I think, like, those movies are an experience. So
they are.
I will.
But it's one of those things where I've seen Avatar 1 a few times because it's really good. Like a decent amount of times. I thought it was such a phenomenal movie for its time and such a fun adventure. Avatar 2 and 3, probably not going to give them a rewatch, if I'm being honest, you know?
That's fair.
Maybe it's because I'm older, but also I've seen Lord of the Rings a billion times, and I'll watch it again at some point soon, probably. You know, it's just such an incredible movie that you could rewatch.
I mean, it is a classic now. Like, it's been a classic for decades at this point, but
for decades. But each film brings a fun, different adventure and different growth for those characters, so they all bring their own value, right? And like the Avatar movies, and you're just like, okay, well, I'll watch the first one, but the follow-ups, I mean, what are we doing here, guys?
Speaking of apparently good movies, other than the internet judging a book by a trailer, the Odyssey, apparently, from people that have seen it already, is apparently phenomenal. So fingers crossed that Christopher Nolan, has delivered a fantastic new movie, because boy, oh boy, do I love my Christopher Nolan movies.
That's very exciting to hear. I really, obviously, any good new exciting movie coming out, the internet, man, prejudged the heck out of the Odyssey.
Well, it could, we'll see.
We could be wrong. Yeah, we could be wrong.
Or those early previews are, they're hyping it up for no reason. I don't know, but man, I hope it's good, because I want more good movies. And I don't want to be the internet where I'm just like, I'm hating it because of the trailer. So we'll see. Yeah.
I think Nolan's still the master at heart, you know? I think he's had a couple of whatevers, Tenet, who nobody's talking about Tenet. You're just like, I don't even know what happened in that movie. Yeah.
That's okay.
I could watch that movie 5 times and still not have any idea what's going on. But it would be torture to watch that movie even one more time. You're just like, what's happening, man? He's gone too high. He's gone too complicated. He's like, people got Inception too easily.
He loves, He loves his mind benders, and
he just went too bendy, is what he did.
Yeah, he's a bendy guy.
Anyway, it's like Memento.
I never saw Memento, but that would be.
But it's
similar.
in the same vein of sort of like, as the movie goes along, you're like, oh, that, but then that, oh, it's all coming together. I get it. And it's like, cool. Everybody could watch that movie and understand and even have an appreciation for going back to watch it again, because you'd be like, oh, I get why that scene was that way, And it wasn't so stupidly high level where you're just like, what? Huh? And Tenet was...
What?
Tenet was just like him being like, I'm going to go for the max high level where like just only some super mega obsessive nerd's going to get what's happening in this film.
Yeah.
And I really tried with Tenet. I was like, I'm paying it. I was like, I found myself having to
take notes.
I found myself having to actually remove myself from the immersion of the film to try and like pay attention to the details. I was like, I'm studying this like it's a class report so that I can figure out what's happening in the film. And I still couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. And by the end of it, I was so annoyed with all the chaos that I was like, I don't even care. There's a battle. There's people are fighting. I don't even know why they're fighting. Who knows? Who am I rooting for? I don't even know who I'm rooting for at this point. You know, it's just chaos.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I think Christopher Nolan has established himself as being a pretty goated director. And so I'm hopeful that the Odyssey is as good as early reviews are saying, because I want more. I want more good content.
Yep. Fair enough. We need some more legendaries, you know. We're getting a lot of epic directors who are kind of hitting and missing these days. You know, you got Spielberg, who puts out a movie his biopic film, incredible. So good. Mm-hmm. And then he released this recent film, which I haven't seen yet, but I have only seen people saying it's like the worst movie ever made. Spielberg's like, what is it called? Like something day, Revelation Day, Inception Day, something like that. Forgot what it is, but
was that the one with
Emily Blunt?
Her name. Emily Blunt, yeah.
Yeah. People are saying it was absolute garbage. And I'm like, man, I don't even think I'm going to try it now. It just got panned by everybody. Same with like Ridley Scott stuff. So we need some other mega directors to start giving us some more bangers more consistently, you know?
Well, there's Dune 3 coming around the corner soon, so
we'll see.
I remember I started watching that trailer and I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing right now? And I exited out because I'm like, I don't need to see this. I already know I'm in.
Yep. That's how I was with like Obsession. You know, everybody was talking about it and they're like, it's so good. And then I saw like maybe 5 seconds of a trailer and was like, nope. I just want to go in completely blind. I literally had very little idea what that movie was about other than somebody potentially being obsessed with somebody. It's like, that's all I know. Yeah. Which still, Matt, you got to see that one. That's my recommendation of the year so far. It's so good. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've yammered on for long enough. Everybody, thanks for dropping by the Level With Me podcast. We appreciate y'all so much. If you want to support us further, check out our Patreon linked below. You can come watch us record the podcast live early on Monday mornings, 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. But otherwise, we appreciate you nonetheless for dropping by, listening to us ramble on about the game industry and all the crazy stuff happening in this industry. There's never a lack of craziness happening, I find, in the game industry. It's either amazing or crazy. There's very little in between those two extremes. So it's fun. I'm glad to be a part of it. And Matt's always going to leave you guys with some very useful life advice. Take it away, Matt.
This life advice is, well, first of all, stop doom scrolling so much. That's one. I just thought of that 2 seconds ago.
Nice.
The second is, so you're always gonna have assholes in your life, right? And they'll try to, be an asshole. But a lot of people are not. And so if you don't look into people's comments, so what's the word I'm looking for? Don't try to piece things together that aren't actually there. You know, sometimes a comment is just a comment. Someone in my life took things way out of context and it was like, what are we doing right now? What are we doing? People are just living their lives. You know, most people aren't trying to be mean to you. So let it slide. Let it flow.
Yeah. Give people the benefit of the doubt, as I like to say.
It's a good way of framing it. Yeah. Give people the benefit of the doubt.
If somebody's actions could be motivated by either good intentions or bad intentions and come to the same result, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. Say, you know what? They wanted to do that for a good reason, but it didn't end up the way that we all wanted it to, or I didn't interpret it in the positive way. But their intentions were good. Start off there rather than the intentions were bad. And I think you'll live a more positive, happy life, you know?
Took it right out of my, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's a big thing. I mean, that's like, I think people's entire lives are governed by not giving people the benefit of the doubt. And you're like, why is that person so miserable all the time? Well, they just think everybody in their lives and everybody around them is operating on some nefarious agenda. And you're like,
that they're out to get them.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're not out to get you. They're really not.
Yep.
At least I hope not.
Yeah. No, they are, Matt. For you anyway. We're all out to get
please.
you. Yeah.
Please. I just want to play video games.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for dropping by the podcast. We appreciate y'all. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.